But yeah, I mean, we're already going in, right? You have a Taiko, we have Atlab, and if it goes to game 3, we have Inkies. So kind of hoping for that one personally. But 1-2 punch Spark of Agility start with pretty solid team comps around the board here. Barcode on his Atlas defensive goalie, Shianzu with the SL doing a lot of work as well. And an Asher pick, this time in Brawler.
Oh no. So we do see Asher, definitely kind of an interesting pick. Yeah, once again, not entirely sure if she's really in the game, but a second player using the cheat engine is going to get Asher on the board here onto Taiko. We also see Rune. Rune. We love Rune around here, but does Rune do well in this meta? Not sure, but we will certainly find out, though. Kind of an interesting team comp coming out here, though. Merchant, though, on the classic Luna, but Streak playing the forward Rune. Joker going in here with the Asher. Hey, still good at smashing these barriers onto Taiko, though, so I'll take it. Barcode getting that strike shot onto the top side there, right into the hands of Shianzu. He's going to have to be holding this whole mid lane with just about no speed here, though. Souls. It's actually funny. You can't really activate Souls. You got to walk around the drum some of the time. So that's kind of funny to think about as they're going to be pushing this one onto the bottom side. Merchant goes in once again. They can't get it past Joker just yet. Barcode not really feeling all that much pressure at all yet until Shianzu makes it happen with that piercing shot. Had the flip to reinforce themselves as well. So first shot on over there to the showtime, to the time of show, showing the time.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of picks as well, we do have some interesting picks, but I feel like most of them, if you're seeing them in current meta, it's gotta be on Taiko Temple, because it is, in my opinion, the most close map that we have. So having something like a lockdown goalie with the Atlas who can just put down an expanse in the middle of the map essentially and just completely shut down that area. Same with rune pillars, right? Just well. As I was saying, Rune Pillars shut down the midfield completely. You also can just shut down the enemy completely by taking them out and completely making their HP bars disappear. Merchant also about to die here. Flip comes out from Joker, but KO not found yet, but still incredibly strong position for Showtime here.
Yeah. Joker actually scared Merchant into the cage, and they actually had Streak respawning there to get back and grab the ball. Although tough situation for the side of Bozo Bunch. It's close. Yeah, it finally gets it on through with the barrier beam. I'm not really even sure if that pillar would have helped, because it probably wouldn't have been solid by the time Joker had that strike up. Either way, Showtime taking the next point. I'm really interested to see if we can get some points from this rune. Again, not really seen played all that much often. Mojoplotto smashing Shianzu against the drum. Kind of actually redirects the piercing shot, but Joker finds a kill of their own with the barrier beam once again. Asher quite good at getting those kills on this close range map. Shianzu, that was really good ultimate there to make sure that ball stays in between those barriers and grabs both of them on a nice double. Joker flicks. The flick is just too damn good here, especially with 1-2 punch giving a little bit of extra speed. Showtime pretty much uncontested for this first point, grabbing their first awakening here. Joker, what's it gonna be? Hey, built different, could be some size.
Some size would be great to be picking up here, but you do have other awakenings that could be a bit interesting, because Luna's going to get a pick between Missile Prop and Specialized. The Adren Rush actually being a pickup for Joker, which, I mean, Joker has found KOs already. The discount Julie, essentially, with that 1-2 punch. So if he can continue to find them, it's going to be even better. Missile Prop finding its way onto Merchant going to help a bit as well, as around the board, just... I don't think any awakening really stands out to me massively. The Recovery Zone can help Streak stay alive quite a bit, but I don't think BOZO Bunch really got what they needed out of this draft. And the thing is, on a baseline, the comp from Showtime is just so much easier and more consistent to play. You just have much easier one-to-one matchups as well, because if I'm Merchant and I'm Luna, I don't know how I'm defending against an Asher, like, ever, if she's in my face. And the other thing that I wanted to mention that just happened, even if you have the damage with Zentaro and Luna and you can find a KO, you have Barcode on Atlas. He's just gonna save the teammates, and the KO just was basically for nothing.
Yeah, Barcode did get a little bit shafted there, though, having to take Stinger, possibly as a deny, to make sure that the team is going to stay alive a little bit longer. Dropletto looking at just about 0 health here, trying to play a little bit of evasive game, but ends up walking kind of close to that drum, and the Joker certainly had a cooldown to make that one happen. Merchant not going back, letting Streak play at the goalie situation, or goalie position, as we're going to stall out some time. Any cooldowns on deck from Showtime? Not quite just yet. We do have BOZO Bunch survive that interaction, but yeah, like you're mentioning, there's a lot of tough times where Luna just does not have any cooldowns, and just too simple, you know, strike forward, reinforce that with one thing is enough to get it past Luna in a lot of situations. And man, take a look at the levels of the players right now. 5-5-3, 4-2-2. For the side of BOZO Bunch, we got a 3 here from Dropletto, but you can see that the ball is just in Showtime's court at every situation, bro. They keep getting those barriers. They're getting so many objectives. They're really just making it happen right now, and the levels will show. I mean, it's health, too. Levels are health. Levels are basically only health. So, let's see if anything changes as maybe a couple kills comes out here from BOZO Bunch. Will give them some experience, although Dropletto can't even seem to play the game, except gets a barrier of their own, gets a flip. Can't find much more than that. Gonna get the heck out of there, and one barrier will suffice until you're dead. Joker also grabbing a double. The flip here from Xianzu is going to be not stuffed. Not stuffed by the pillars, and Xianzu just has that scope active.
Yeah, I mean, what you mentioned is so true, right? The levels, it's just always on the defensive end for the side of BOZO Bunch, and that makes it so difficult to play, because your team comp, you have a Luna on net, you have Zentara up front, you have a Rune that does a really good job at keeping the core up, but that's kind of the issue. You want to keep it up, so to keep it up, you need to have it up in the first place, and it's just so difficult to do that against an ASHER, against an Estelle, and even if you get past both of them, the Atlas is right behind them as well. So I feel like the team comps are just so difficult to really manage here. A great double barrier for BOZO Bunch here, but they still need to find the goal, as a nice strikeout from Xianzu will keep it alive here. The banish comes out, flip comes out, Joker has flip as well, doesn't want to use it to evade there. Maybe some survivability concerns, but no, still perfectly fine. Joker on the attack now, has a flip as well, is not use it yet, does take it actually. Adrenaline rush on ASHER, that barrier is gonna fall, and that goal is surely to go in here. Never mind, good defense.
yeah, close one in this 2v3 here though. Cooldown from Xianzu is gonna be good. I did not check if Merchant had any evade there, but they were in position. If they had some evade, they could have possibly used it if it wasn't on cooldown. But either way, Xianzu going to make it difficult with that piercing shot. Awakenings being shown here, though. Xianzu first on deck. Aerials, prime time, a lot of really good things. Xianzu's kind of the killer right now. I'll say they are noticing their positioning. They have that 1-2 punch. They get what Taiko is all about, and that's just seeing your opponent on the edge and just sniping them right out of the air. Gonna go for that prime time. Make sure that they have Estelle's best ability ×2 at all times as well. Siege Machine at least falls to Streak, which is definitely pretty great for Rune. Last pick here, though, Dropletto enjoying this can of soda here. Super Surge might be exactly what they need for Dropletto to get around the board, get to safety, get those barriers, and just be able to play a lot of different positions.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna give you the opportunity to start playing a bit more, because, I mean, again, you see the levels. Drop is not hit level 4 yet, which means he just can't get himself involved in any meaningful way in the play at all. With Super Surge, yes, you have more range to be working with, but it doesn't really solve the issue completely yet. So it's still very difficult to go through, especially because Drop has the Siphoning Wand as well, which gives you the idea that they want to be going for damage, but it's just so difficult to do that, because not only are now the enemies a bit ahead in level, again, there's an Atlas behind it. It's just difficult to execute that, and again, the core control is so suffocating from the side of Showtime here, as the ultimate almost saves the barrier there, actually, by a drop. The attack coming through from BOZO Bunch here now. They do want to get the second barrier and the skull going. Xianzu gets rather low as well, but I'm sure that's not going to stay for long, as never... Oh, beautiful rocket!
Oh, nice evade. Yeah, great evade there from Merchant. Jumps on over to the edge, realizing that they are in extreme danger from Joker getting a dash punch of their own. Gets that evade on through to keep themselves alive. Hey, a kill here from Dropletto is going to probably net them an entire level from where they were at. Here we go. Oh, they might have been able to find a kill onto Joker, but going to go for ball control anyway, and it works out. Dropletto gets it in there, making things difficult for Barcode. Now the levels are going up just a little bit here. Our brawlers are getting active. Merchant trying to move forward. Streak needs to get something going. I really want to say that the BOZO Bunch comp has me thinking, I'm not entirely sure what Rune is doing here. I mean, you can play whatever you want. I mean, it's chill, but like, the team comp just feels like we're going kind of halvesies on the damage and halvesies on the kill confirms, because Rune is like, kind of like, you can definitely do like the whole like banish combo with the Crater Maker, but I mean, that has not, I don't even think that's happened yet. Maybe once I missed it, but that situation is just tough to just come across when things are just not in your court. You're taking a lot of damage, and the pressure from the opposing team is just doing so well. Maybe they just did not think it would be this difficult. Either way, I think that the Rune is not perfectly synergizing here with this team, although nice hit from Barcode is going to give the ball to Shianzu. The barrier's almost held, but it does take a lot from the opposing team to get that one through. Merchant against Joker here, though, wins out on that situation. Shianzu jumps in front of Jopletto, and now it's Joker and Shianzu in the 2v2 against Streak and Merchant. They win out and grab that barrier. Oh, Joker's fast, really fast with this speed here, bro. The slick kicks, it's tough to contest. Flip from Barcode up to Shianzu, gonna keep that one speed, although they find a kill. The Adrenaline Rush running circles around Streak 20 times faster. 748 run speed against 450. I mean, no shot there. I mean, Showtime, it's just all Showtime right now.
Yeah, most definitely. And it feels like the game has basically just begun, but somehow Showtime is one goal away from just taking it already. So, yeah, it's difficult. Streak does want to find some kind of KOs as well there. Gets a great Vanish and a Confirm from Merchant. Gives a power play for the side of BOZO Bunch here, but they do need to get the core out, and Shianzu is just being so oppressive in that midfield, using abilities to keep it up. So now you don't have him anymore, but still, it's going to be enough to get Joker back on the field, and Joker immediately gets a KO and drop Leto, not getting any use out of that flip for him there, as now Merchant in the close range 1v1 against Asher. Nice strike layers will keep the ball alive, but for how long is the question. As Shianzu's walking up as well, has a flip, piercing shot, flip comes out, barrier not dropped just yet, and Merchant tries to get a barrier off of Barcode, but Barcode just holding on for now.
Yeah, really tight situation there, though. Holds this barrier. Merchant, with their life, the barrier beam is going to eat one of the strikes and knock the ball forward. Once again, looking for a kill on to Joker. Merchant does hit the wall quick enough so they can get that eject button going here. Gonna fight onto the bottom side here, though. Passes nicely up to Joker. Shianzu really controlling the midfield, though. Gets revived. Streak keeps himself in the game. Merchant not going to lose the ball just yet, although the Asher ult is out. The ball is maintained. Pressure from BOZO Bunch. Boy, tough spot. Joker now self-dribbling there. Kind of whiffs, misses the ball for that breakthrough. Almost the combo perfect there from Shianzu, and the piercing beam is not going to land. An Expanse comes out, which is going to basically stuff everything. I mean, damn, you mentioned it before. You just pop that Expanse, and if it does land onto something, it's going to hold that whole area. I mean, I felt like that was their in right there. It felt like everyone was here to help that one through, but the Expanse was just massive. Level 10 Shianzu there right at the end. I think maybe 6 or 5 was on the other team, so really was all Showtime there. It's mostly like you can see the redirects really aren't that far apart, but it was just like the objectives, right? You get a bunch of experience for getting barriers, for getting kills, and for just doing things, eating orbs and stuff. So the levels were kind of not really that close for most of the game, and then still at the end, Shianzu and Joker really pulled away, and that was kind of how the game just went. It really just spiraled out of control. Showtime just had so much control over that game. I feel like I don't know, because kind of towards the end of the game, Streak was making it happen, right? They was getting the banishing combos, and they were getting kills off of it, but it felt like the core control that Rune was adding to the team just was not there, possibly due to like the starting awakening. Like if you just had like Timeless or Mon, like I feel like the size of the anomaly is just like the most valuable thing ever. I mean, especially on that map, you could actually just make it so the goalie kind of can't get it out, right? If it's big enough. But so you're just playing on a tough field there, though, if you're Rune here.
Yeah, most definitely difficult to make work. Streak did find some kind of gameplay in the end, but it just wasn't enough. And I feel like also another point that kind of just shows how Showtime was doing so well outfields to control the core and keep the core in the half of BOZO Bunch was the fact that I think Barcode finished at game level 6. And that's not because he played bad by any means. He just didn't really have to defend. The core just didn't find its way onto the side of Showtime, which means obviously it's difficult to get levels on an Atlas if you don't have to lock down your goal barriers like that. So it's a bit difficult. Obviously, I feel like for BOZO to go into the next game, because this is a very like one-sided game, right? Like that was, what was it, 13 minutes on the dot. Pretty fast, you know, and you do need to find some kind of adjustment. But the saving grace is, I feel like Taiko Temple, at least from my understanding so far, is gonna be Showtime's like arguably best map because the picks that they can play so well are still very valid in that on that map, whereas on other maps maybe they're not as good, right? An Atlas, a Mako, they're still playable on other maps, but I feel like they really shine on a Taiko Temple. But we'll see if that's going to hold up, because now you're going to go into Bozo's map pick. You're going to go into AdLab, and AdLab, very, very different, I feel like. Still similar kind of setup, but you can play a lot more for KO, for damage KO. You can also just play for a pure control comp as well and try to execute that. But you're going to be needing a lot more range and a lot more speed to do well on AtLab, which you don't necessarily need on Taiko. We do have a build different and prime time start, so curious to see where the priorities are going to lie here as the Vice gets banned out. Not really a big shocker here. Vice is a bit strong.
Yeah, I mean, constantly throughout this NASL season, I'm always like, oh my god, Merchant, the Luna main. But everyone corrects me and says, Merchant, the Vice champion. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. And then, man, constantly getting banned out. I mean, I like banning Vice no matter what. That's chill. But I feel like they are possibly looking to ban out Merchant here, though. And BOZO Bunch is saying, hey, no more Estelle. We are done with that. Shianzu, take a break. And yeah, I was gonna say possibly hit the now, right? Shianzu's next character that I think of is always like, damn, that he is quite good on the now. Now being pretty good with prime time as well. No objections here. Might be able to see maybe Asher will come out again. We do have size start, maybe Dubu, on this size start, but this is kind of siphoning one territory, so we might be able to just start knocking people into the Atlas Circle with these prime times. I don't know.
Yeah, we will see as the X pick comes out here for the side of BOZO Bunch. Leto trying to play a little bit aggressive up front, trying to make use of this X with size. Obviously, a great pickup, right? It's going to be very oppressive up front, and depending on what your goalie matchup is going to be, it could be very beneficial. The problem I still kind of see with it is X does really good into like non-lockdown goalies, and you're playing into Barcode currently, which I feel like it's a bit more difficult to guarantee yourself a non-lockdown goalie on the other hand there. As Akai also gets picked up for the side of BOZO Bunch. Gonna play into that movement speed aspect, and obviously Kai being a really solid pickup as well for the prime time. That barrage has such a long cooldown on a baseline and has so much impact. If you just have that more frequently, that's gonna do quite a lot of work for you, especially on a map like AtLab. As the Asher still does get picked. They're not changing anything.
Somehow, the beta patch is active, and Asher just seems to be on the characters. And actually, maybe she's just, one player just has to pick Asher, and they're just abiding by the rule. And that's fair. I don't actually know that rule just yet, but it might just be like the week 9 rule. But hey, hitting that Asher once again, probably looking to get that one onto Barcode. Playing our defensive goalies here. Rasmus probably on the front lines here, though. I'm not really sure, but Joker, I mean, did just hit the Asher, so yeah, we'll see. Luna showing up again, and once again, I am a Luna believer for this patch for sure. Every time I watch Luna beat everyone's ass, I'm like, bro, Luna, so good. BOZO Bunch going to take that one there. Merchant, once again, being the Luna. Maybe this is why Merchant's the Luna main. Because everyone just keeps banning Vice, and I'm like, well, duh, of course Merchant just plays Luna the whole damn time. It's his character. But once again, we have... Yeah, X is kind of interesting, too. I feel like you mentioned before, like, X is really good against, like, non-lockdown goalies in that situation. But it's like, X is still good at beating ass, but X also just sits there and gets his ass beat. Because he can't go... He's so, like... stationary. This guy's not mobile. He doesn't have a lot of movement speed. Oh, I thought someone said something. That was the that was the caster's command. I was like, what the? I was like, what's going on? I have to read this now. It ruined everything.
Did someone just dox you? Wait, what?
I was like, what the heck? Anyway, yeah, no, X really good at dealing damage, really good at taking damage. So I mean, opposing team doesn't have a ton, right? Like Luna's on one team. I feel like this is gonna be like, this is not gonna be a we're just gonna kill everyone comp, right? Unless we just say X Luna is. I don't know. I just gotta watch the game, bro.
I feel like it's possible, but it again goes into the same kind of territory of you're just gonna need the right awakenings to find their ways to you, right? You do have, like, Kai actually has a surprising amount of damage output as well, but the issue with Kai usually is that his cooldowns are quite as long as well, and you want Kai under control more so than anything else. So yes, you can barrage an enemy and play off of that damage, but you don't really want to. as almost immediately a double barrier drops. Again, Luna Merchant, such a good player on that character, but there's just certain things you cannot change about the character, and that it's the defensive like stronghold that is Luna is not really much of a stronghold.
That is true. I would not even use the word stronghold when it comes to Luna, unless it's like she is holding my neck with. Oh, okay. Streak is running into orbit right now, kind of sort of disconnecting a little bit here. Do have to finish the point. Those are dem rules, so we finish up that point. You get 5 minutes of stalling and reconnecting. I'm not entirely sure if that 5 minutes is like once ever, or if that is some sort of like actual like bank timer if we have like a 5 minutes per game or whatever. But either way, we are thinking about life. We are thinking about our place in the universe. Streak is on board, possibly having ping problems. Dropletto hanging out in the goal. What's up?
I don't know. We can kind of talk about game plan. Never mind. They're back.
No, that's stupid.
We didn't need to talk about gameplay. We don't need to talk about game plan. We're going to talk about how they're throwing hands, because Dropletto has siphoning one as well, by the way. He has only one goal, and that's getting people off this map. But that's going to be a bit difficult because you're dealing with it now. You're going into an ASHER as well, which is not necessarily easy to kill. So we'll have to see how that's going to pan out. This one barrier is now down on the side of BOZO Bunch. They do want to try to get an attack going, but Shianzu is so oppressive in that midfield. And even though you do get the core up here, it's just going to go to Barcode, and he's just going to strand it straight back into the offense again. So difficult to execute.
Yeah, right there. X Maximus grabbing one of those barriers here. Objectives are the most important part of this game. Barrage going to be completely parried by that barrier beam. I would definitely say that ASHER is one of the better goalies at defending against Kai, defending against Barrage in general. It's quite nice. Nice using the prime time, but it's not going to work out right there. Big old flip from Dropletto is going to make things just a little bit too awkward. Joker gets a super good pendulum swing there. Now Streak has control of this ball here. Going to self-dribble it, ride it on top of the wall. Can't maintain control here just yet. The pendulum swing knocks it really far. Merchant actually dodges everyone and gets right into Barcode's face. Actually, like the pilot of this ship has gotten through the buildings. Like, I don't know, that dude was doing some Spider-Man angling here.
Yeah, and just completely calls Barcode out on that one as well. Just holds all the way and then just gets that clean strike to get the goal. BOZO Bunch now already off to a better start than last game, and they do wish to hold that momentum as one barrier is actually still alive. Really clean defense from Shianzu and Barcode there to hold on to that top barrier. Shianzu gets a bit low, doesn't have any evades to be working with either, so maybe some damage dump can be working out there. As yes, the KO gets found by Dropletto. Power play now for BOZO Bunch as they're trying to get the second barrier off of Joker and Barcode. They do have a lot of defensive utility here, and they're doing a really good job. Merchant with a flip almost gets it, but Barcode is there. Barcode will answer to it. And now 3v3 gameplay again.
That was shocking, but hey, Barcode was actually ready for a situation like that, so that's kind of big. Fighting their way out here against Shianzu. Streak does end up getting the ball cleared and putting up enough pressure here. Barrier beam just in time to hold the ball. Joker going to reset their own strike here with that Death's Touch. Just going to grab that barrier quite nicely. Barcode smashing that against the wall with the breakthrough. Going to spend the ult, trying not to lose this barrier to Dropletto's I don't know, set of cooldowns. I know maybe they're worried about just this flip, but okay, Dropletto's trying to destroy everyone, but in that mess, ends up getting the barrier either way. Joker has a lot of control here, though. Nice self-dribble and just places himself perfectly center stage, and that's an open barrier. You know, you kind of have to guess most of the time when it's like open barrier, especially in overtime, too. It's like really good positioning there from Joker.
Yeah, really difficult. And I really like what Dropletto did there, by the way. Like, yes, it seemed like just a bit of random ability spamming, but you're disrupting Barcode's defense and allowing Streak and Merchant then get an attack on the barrier going while Barcode cannot react to it, right? The strength of this ASHER is that you're basically, whenever you're free to act, you can kind of shut down everything. You have a primary that does wonders. Actually, matter of fact, you have two primaries because it's primetime start to help with that defense. And you just don't want to allow Barcode to set himself up like that. You don't want to allow him to use that primary. So using your abilities like that to get him stunned and not allow him to get these abilities out is so valuable. As a lot of damage gets found on both sides. 2 staggers, but unfortunately not a single kill just yet. Dropletto tries to change that and does get Shianzu. Power play now for BOZO Bunch.
That was crazy. It looked like Shianzu actually was outplaying Dropletto. I think he whiffed 2 strikes there in the X Maximus. I was afraid that Shianzu would just unleash the god upon Dropletto and just dodge every one of those strikes. But Merchant gets it on through, flips just a little bit too early there, though, trying to get the squeeze in between the opening of those 2 walls. But can't seem to make it out just yet. Streak holding the line here, though. Merchant not under too much pressure right now. Dropletto trying to get the bell ringer through. Joker wins the situation against Streak. Merchant in space. Can't get there in time. The combo from Shianzu and Joker get that one through. The pendulum swing has makes the ball red in overtime with no power, I guess. Is that from the patch? Like, did we add core knockback to that or what? Is that always like that?
I'm not sure, actually. What I'm sure of is there's a bit of damage in this draft. You have a bit of heavy impact. You have a bit of Stinger, 1-2 punch, twin drive as well. Finding its way onto Joker, going to help with that core control as bulk up gets picked up by Merchant. You do have Stinger going the way of drop. I'm a bit surprised by that. I'm not an X player. Maybe I'm just not a knower. Isn't 1-2 or heavy better? I don't know. Either way, size onto Barcode finds its way as well, which does do a lot of work. And aerials for Shianzu gonna make sure this now enables their teammates even more. So I feel like everyone kind of happy with what they got out of this draft.
Yeah, it could be interesting here with the Stinger. It might be like I'm gonna try to stand on the goalie situation for Dropletto, but man, Shianzu making quick work of that final barrier as Joker's gonna absorb a lot of that attention, being really low, but now healed up nicely with that lifeline. They got both of the barriers here pretty much unscathed. Now Merchant on the front lines here, going to at least cause Barcode to spend that barrier beam, but they do find an out. Dropletto can't find the kill on Shianzu. They spend a lot of resources there trying to make it happen. They do, get that top barrier at least for their troubles. Dropletto going in one more time, smashing Shianzu, who just has quite a low health pool. Dodges the bell ringer as well, but can't dodge Atlas as he is the god of everything right now. Merchant goes in with the boost once more. Dropletto standing on an orb, trying to heal themselves up as this 2v2 is going to commence on the bottom side of the lane. Merchant probably waiting for a boost cooldown in order to make it happen. There's one barrier beam here from Barcode. Can they get the next one out? And then Merchant might be able to get on in there. I'm not really sure. It could happen in this overtime.
Yeah, most definitely. A lot of damage still being tossed around. The game plan from BOZO Bunch seems actually decently simple. They're just dumping damage. They're just applying Stinger from drop. The Merchant's using Luna Ultimate basically off of cooldown, and they're just trying to get the HP bars low to eventually get a power play and play off of that. And it's worked somewhat. They've gotten KO. Streak also with the Kai has a great kill confirm with that barrage, especially because, again, you have 2 of them. But there is a time limit that you're working against. That's exactly this, and it's the fact that now Rasmus have very solid core control as well, and eventually they're going to find their way through your defense. So if you can't get these power plays going before your barriers drop, before that core goes in, it's it's very rough for BOZO Bunch to execute here.
Yeah, as a matter of time, that's a good way to put it here, as the Joker has just about gotten an objective every Death's Touch, right? So you're thinking about Death's Touch being like a 20-second cooldown. You got about a minute to win this game, or maybe more. Hey, Dropletto get a nice kill with that X Maximus. They're going to put on a lot of pressure here with Streak helping out, but man, they can't get the ball on over to Barcode. Merchant now going onto the bottom side. Dropletto going to hold that flip until they get that barrier, although now going to dodge some damage with it and get the barrier at the same time, which is completely fair. Streak gonna hold the line here. Tried to get a combo. It didn't entirely work with the stun combo, but Dropletto grabs the ball really far in front of Barcode and just knocks it in quite nicely there. That's the kind of team combo here we're looking for BOZO Bunch to make this one happen.
Yeah, and something I want to point out really quick as well is, I mean, this is the second ASHER goalie we're seeing, but this one's seeming to work a lot better. Now, why could that be? It's basically just matchups. If we're comparing the matchups that Barcode has here with the ASHER goalie, you're going into Dropletto on the X, which is going to be very close, which means whenever Dropletto tries to take your barrier and tries to threaten you with their offense, he's basically going to be standing on top of you, which means, yeah, you're ASHER, you can just plop down a primary and that's situation solved, right? Like, you just cover basically everything. On the other hand, in the game beforehand, you were playing into Estelle Drek, which they just hit you from a distance. So the ASHER goalie pick here actually incredibly efficient, because the side of BOZO Bunch just needs to be on top of you to take that barrier, unless you're getting like some crazy Luna rocket or whammy or something.
Yeah, unfortunately for Dropletto, Shanzu had a cooldown to escape, even after being chased down that entire time, but not going to stop the damage just yet. Merchant going to hold this final barrier streak, blasting the Giga, but can't seem to get the barrier here, though. Barcode kind of on deck right now with these reactions, moving quite fast here with these... Oh, no. Oh! The crazy save! Flip is a funny thing, as it does not move with you, but that it is quite long range, and they find a kill onto Barcode somehow, possibly the assistance of that Giga Blast, though. Now all they have to do is win this interaction with this 2v3, although they are doing such a good job stalling here. Showtime gets their third player back. Barcode ready to start defending once again in streak. Not too happy about that. No barrages just yet. Dropletto feeling like he's losing a lot of health here, but they do finally get it. Flips right on center, and they gets it through Dropletto. Nice patience, allowing the opponents to split the C for him. Getting that next point. Man, they need another set to even this one up.
Yeah, and BOZO are doing such a good job now just spreading that damage and getting power plays. They don't get any kind of like direct barrier or goal off of each power play, but with enough power plays and enough persistence, you're gonna get through eventually, which is really good for them. And they've just been doing a good job at that Dropletto, also being incredibly aware of any kind of KOs you can find on the edge and realizing those KOs as well. As one barrier is now down on the side of BOZO. Joker, Johnson trying to get the second barrier off of Merchant, but they just can't quite get the angle. Streak also helping significantly in the back. Obviously, Kai being a pick that works just as well in net as well as in midfield. Gonna help quite a bit there as the push goes up now. Barcode using that primary and holds onto the barrier, but Dropletto with the ultimate X Maximus will get the barrier. Merchant jumps in, gets a second one. Joker still on the attack, gets a barrier now. Shianzu and Joker try to get it in, but now Mine will take it. Excellently executed from the side of Showtime there. Kept up the pressure and did not leave any kind of path to get out of.
Yeah, that was tight. There might have been like a really tough like Soren angle there for Merchant, but I mean in that situation with that much pressure, you cannot blame anybody for that result. Although here a flip from Barcode going to avoid the Crater Maker, but a lot of damage being exchanged onto Dropletto, who is nowhere to be seen now. Joker approaching from the bottom side here with the help of Shianzu. Want to see Barcode moving up a little bit as well. Streak gonna try to get that blazing speed in there to make something happen, but they do defend that final barrier at least long enough for Dropletto to come back in here. Giga Blast sends Joker down to just about under half, but Lifeline's gonna keep them up. I mean, this team is resilient, even with X trying to get them out of here with this stinger. Oh my god, Shanzu with an insane weight is gonna win out on that interaction. Dropletto can't find the kill onto Joker's Streak that also whiffs, but they do eventually get it here with that bell ringer, and now this is a huge power play here though for BOZO Bunch. I mean, they really got to make the most out of it.
They really do, and they try as they get the barrier. Merchant with a dash up front is going to be doing it. Has a flip as well, so if that dash is going to come back on cooldown, maybe you can look to even get it in as the Luna here, as again, damage just gets dumped. If gameplay gets more difficult, but a nice barrier take from Joker there. As the Rebel on both the open nets, a flip comes out from Merchant, defended by Shianzu and Barcode. It's just not enough. The Asher does everything. Barcode still holds on. The point's still alive. Double flip on BOZO Bunch. Now, surely you're going to be making use of those to actually get the goal in, but no, the strike war, the interactions, they're just so clean from Showtime. Shianzu barely hanging on as it stands, but still on the map. Flip comes out from Dropletto as well. Doesn't find the KO. Now down to only Streak. Joker up front needs to use the flip from Streak there to stay alive, and now even playing field as Shianzu's getting all his HP back as well.
Actually insane. I kind of wish you were still talking so I could just watch mindlessly with my jaw agape, because this point, this last little bit of this point is so important and it's so much happening. They get a little line through to Dropletto. The Crater Maker actually ends up getting a kill, and possibly the assistance of the stun of the Giga there made it so Joker could not evade. Now it's just Shianzu and Barcode left to defend. The X Maximus does not find its target just yet. Shianzu is still evaded. They do find the damage. They find the kill. Joker uses the Death's Touch. It doesn't make it. The barrier beam actually lands. Okay, the Pendulum Swing also stalls a little bit of time as well. The Giga doesn't find its mark. The whammy whiffing as well. Another Pendulum Swing. Dropletto assisting the ball in finding its goal, even if it's not the right one that they're looking for. Once again, doing a whole lot of damage to Shianzu, completely staggering, but not finding the kill with that flip. That's a lot of resources spent. Man, this point is just actually disgusting. The barrier beam comes out. Once again, the X Maximus can't find its mark. It actually gets it through. God, wait. Was that a strike reset from dropping X Maximus? Does that happen?
Yeah, that happens. When the X Ultimate runs out, you get a reset, and that was what was
No
needed, because for
way.
some reason, Xianzu just couldn't lose a Strike War, so Drop just got 2, and it was enough, as they're now going into the second draft.
There's no way.
Yeah, it's very, like, it's such unfortunate timing for Showtime, but hey, the pressure was being held up really nicely from BOZO Bunch, and they get rewarded by it. And what did they get rewarded with? Specialized training on X. That's gonna hurt a bit. Unfortunately, it looks like Streak's gonna get a Siege Machine, because didn't think it DC again.
He's gone. Where is he? All right, Streak.
A very bad time to not connect, but overall, specialized training on Dropletto. Dropletto has been doing a lot of work for damage, for keeping the winning chances essentially for BOZO alive. So the specialized training going to do quite a bit. The Deadeye for Joker, mainly the Deny pick, not wanting to get Merchant that give Merchant that Deadeye, which is really great as well. And other than that, I mean, more speed on Xianzu and size on Barcode. It's a very dangerous situation now for BOZO Bunch.
True, yeah, I do like the pick there from Xianzu. I mean, it's like when you're playing midfield now, that speed is so important, right? Like you're kind of just being like in comms, like, yo, secondary's up, get over here, and then you just pop a mine real quick, and then you guys are alarmingly fast. You're like pre-nerf Mako amounts of speed doubled right there. So really great for getting that pressure going, getting that core control. All right, back into this point here. Merchant trying to get it onto the top side, spends the Crater Maker, does a little bit of damage to Xianzu. The X Maximus reset is going to, wow, strike everybody and at least get one of these objectives. Xianzu getting kind of beat right now. Dropletto really has their target now. Not a high health pool at all. Spends the flip a little far, but kind of an alarming angle from Dropletto is going to certainly secure that barrier nicely. Oh, that was actually a strike war for the point. Joker could not win out against Merchant there. We do have a BOZO Bunch taking that first point here, though. All level 10s against all level 9s, guys. It looks like BOZO Bunch is just the better team.
I mean, they have a lot of avenues now to play through, because they do have a decent amount of damage to work with. And again, we've seen that's how they won the last set. That's how they're planning on winning this set. And that's just making sure that Showtime has such an incredibly difficult time playing the game. Talking about difficult to play the game, it's difficult if you're to play the game if you're off the map. Joker with a nice pendulum swing there gets the KO. The Sap Boys angle, though, will actually keep the barrier alive still. Joker trying to just stay alive as of right now. The Nowald will be there to actually assist them, but now Dropletto's back as well. Great defense from Merchant. Point still very much alive. Joker definitely off the map now. Yes, there he goes. Almost gets a kill actually with the Death Touch there. Deadeye not to be underestimated, but now the attack from BOZO Bunch mounting again. You do have a barrage from Streak maybe you want to try using, but Xianzu just being so disruptive, not letting any kind of passing play start between the side of BOZO Bunch, and now back on the field is Joker.
Yeah, low health from Xianzu, now low life here from Xianzu as they're completely out of here. Flip from Barcode, going to send it on up to Streak and Dropletto. They can't seem to clear this one out, but they do stun Dropletto to get the ball on through. Merchant going to try to help here, deal some damage, trying to get involved, get a strike in there, but they just kind of knock Joker around, but that might result in a kill a little bit later as Joker has control of the ball, spends the Whiplash. Streak waits it out, Dropletto flipping. Dropletto simply flipping. That is all good. We love that about Dropletto. Joker getting the ball on over to the barrier. Merchant defending kind of nicely. Loses to the pendulum swing, but still holds the line. Streak is going to continue playing midfield. They're going to maybe wait out this, whoa, blazing pace, but actually Dropletto gets the biggest bell ringer known to man, smashes the ball right on here, and BOZO Bunch is looking good to take this next set over Showtime and try to even this whole series out.
That is just the pressure that's being created by consistently doing damage from the side of BOZO Bunch, because in that situation, Barcode, he sees Merchant come up to him with a dash. He can't play top because that just goes directly into Merchant's hands. But coincidentally, Dropletto was just threatening KOs at the bottom on Xianzu, which just resulted in that bell ringer there being at the right place at the right time. As on both sides are down to one barrier, and they evade bar on Xianzu looking rather low. I feel like Dropletto, it's not going to take long until he's just going to start dumping damage onto Xianzu there to make sure that this now has a difficult time playing the game.
And that's fair. I mean, if you can get Xianzhu to stop playing the game for any amount of time, I mean, you are probably doing the right thing. Barcode gonna spend that Path Splitter to try to get Merchant out of the way, and Joker nicely gets the Death Touch to certainly move Merchant out of the way, but it's gonna be the proximity drone that redirects the core on into the goal. Xianzhu, great recognition there, not having any extra size for it, but just has the right positioning and timing to get that point on in there, though. Showtime not done quite yet. Streak standing on the ball here, though, gets the Giga, knocks it, blasts that barrier out of the water. Dropletto had a chance to get it, but now finds a kill of their own onto Joker. Honestly, the X seems to be working out here for the most part, doing a whole lot of damage. Here comes the flip, tries to get past the barrier beam, but man, ASHER, I gotta say, you know, we did see ASHER the other game, and it was kind of rough, and the matchup now, it looks so much better, although this is kind of a double power play. Joker, defending for his life, though, my god.
It's still alive, actually. The point's still back, and now the entirety of Showtime is back. Joker did everything he needed there just to keep the point alive, as now BOZO bunch are trying to get their attack going again, but again, this time around, they're going to have to go through the entirety of Showtime, which is going to be a lot more difficult, especially in such an open environment when a black hole isn't around to kind of make it more small to play with. As the self-dribble comes out from Dropletto, the flip comes out, doesn't find its target, though. The Giga from Streak tries to get the core interaction there, but doesn't. The attack from Xianzhu and Joker still very much alive. Flip comes out from Merchant, sends it up to Dropletto. Dropletto trying to stun, but doesn't get it. Barcode, a great job defensively there, as the core, again, just kind of being like passed around. And a beautiful Death Touch completely disrupts anything Merchant is trying to do there. And Barcode credited with the goal.
There's actually nothing more sad than like being the goalie and being like, yo, I'm about to defend the shit out of this, and then Erasmus just Death Touch you and you're stunned for an hour and a half, and you're like, should I truly have evaded here while just standing? And the answer was yeah, I guess so. You probably should have evaded. Flip from Streak. It's going to actually hit it right on into the Crater Maker, which kind of reduces a little bit of that pressure. Healing coming out for Joker. It's going to keep him up and healthy. Streak trying to fight onto the top side. Dropletto looking a little bit weak. If they can attract some attention, Dropletto might find a way to recover some of their health. Just going to go straight for the ball, though. Just going to push onto the bottom side. They do get it on through here. Showtime looking good. Dropletto moving up. Kind of has their eyes on Xianzhu instead of the ball a little bit. It's what kind of feels like Whiplash spent here. They're going to try to wait it out for a moment. Streak realizes what's going on here. A big Giga. That might be some of their outs to grabbing some of these barriers. Merchant moving up and striking, but not evading. Instead, it still ends up working out for them. Streak against Joker onto the top side here, though. Now on over to Merchant. Dropletto has a flip. Once again, it feels like Dropletto always has their flip, and that might be why they're getting all these kills.
Yeah, talking about kills, a beautiful flip there. I was thinking where Dropletto is going to be using that, and yes, the KO confirms going to help a lot. A beautiful Giga takes that angle. Nothing Barco can do, and now BOZO bunch trying to finish it up, but no!
Oh my god.
Not like that.
I think Merchant could have gotten there if they didn't use the primary, but it's not hard to understand why they tried to get that primary in there. It would have been tight. Boy, it would have been tight. Damn, that is so rough, but it's Showtime, baby.
It is Showtime, and he gets stacks on stack on Xianzhu. More movement speed, going to be more difficult to deal with. Super Surge finding its way into Kai, going to help a lot as well to be ever present for Streak, as Hotshot is the pickup for Dropletto there. Size also being denied off of Joker, which this is, I think, the first game in a while where I'm looking at Erasmus with no Size Awakenings. That doesn't really happen that often, but it kind of makes sense, because you have Barcode and Net. He wants Size as well on this ASHER, so I guess I can see why. It's just a bit weird to look at normal size Erasmus, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like when I do see normal size Erasmus, it's usually coupled with like some of the speed awakenings, maybe a dash awakening or two, or maybe like the fight or flight, but it doesn't have all that much to go with it other than just extra abilities, but maybe that's all they need, as both barriers going down here. Showtime taking them in quite a quick manner here, though. Now in the hands of Merchant. Let's see what they can do with it, though. Trying to give it to Dropletto, but Xianzhu is going rapid fire right now. With that extra speed we can see from that drone, the dash awakenings are doing so much here, though. Xianzhu trying to grasp the last little string of life here, doing a lot of damage to the opposing team now, though. BOZO bunch now staggered. Dropletto, okay. Merchant has a cooldown to keep that one alive. Dropletto finds a flip and does grab the orb as well. Merchant against Joker here, though. It's going to be nothing without a cooldown. Yeah, there you go. Man, Rasmus so good at just like self-dribbling in that situation and then just walking down with it, especially with the slick kicks, man. So good.
Yeah, so good. So much pressure and so much core control. But you do have 3 flips now on the side of BOZO bunch. And yeah, Barco not falling for it, not trying to defend that barrier there because he knows he has more difficult things to be defending. Because, yeah, the push came through almost immediately. Not a flip expended yet, I believe. Again, Dropletto probably looking to use this flip for a kill confirm, but can't quite get it. Oh, never mind. I just lie for fun, I think. Really good KO from Dropletto there, trying to make a second one
God.
here. As Joker almost taken out, completely taken out now. 3v1 Barcode is gonna get Shionzu back soon, but the power play is still very much there. The barrier staying alive. ASHER showing that defensive prowess here, as Joker's gonna be back on the field soon as well. The barrier's still alive.
Guys, I feel like Barrier Beam might be like a really, really good move. This thing is actually, I mean, sure, you needed the help of 4 players to get it through ASHER. Atlas being one of them, just for no reason. But man, it's like the Barrier Beam is doing like unheard of things until that happens, where the ball just simply goes past you and you strike, just missed, and that's crazy. But literally, the Barrier Beam, like ASHER, is doing some insane defending this game, and the people are seeing it. ASHER could be back.
Well, ASHER is back if you're going into close range, which coincidentally X is very much. Close range to the edge of the map is what Joker is actually, taken off completely. As now BOZO bunch again in a power play. We've seen him in the power play so much, but the side of Showtime just has such a good time defending. They do it so well. Shionzu almost gets a goal there as well as the flip comes out from Dropletto. Merchant dashing up now, trying to have that more pressure coming into the field as well. But yeah, no, the barrier's still alive. That defense is just excellent for Barcode.
It really is. It really is. Well, I mean, he's just such a good at lockdown goalies, and ASHER is one of the more lockdown goalies, I'll say it. Dropletto trying to get it on here with Streak, but boy, they are certainly doing a lot of damage. Dropletto now going down to just about nothing. Merchant goes in, and everyone gets kind of hit there. Dropletto finds a kill. Whoa, that's a lot of damage here, though. Shionzu can barely find a way to defend with just about no health, but the damage might be over for just a little bit here, though, or being placed onto Joker. Their lockdown goalie is back. Merchant getting on in there. Finally, they find the goal with Dropletto. Maybe having a little extra size there, though the build different is doing quite nicely. Joker smacking things just for their life. Merchant ends up hitting the Atlas Orb, which could have spelled death. Streak can't do anything. He simply can't do anything in that situation, though. Holding the line makes sense, and Dropletto nice again with the patience. Barcode trying to just do the one thing that they can, which is like, if I do this here, I can cover this one option. You know, flip is tough. Flip is tough, guys. So patience is a virtue.
Yeah, very much so. And even if you try to dash towards drop, he can just play it off with the wall. So a bit difficult to be fending that as a barrier does drop. Now, Dropletto did use the X Maximus here as well. Shionzu taking a lot of damage, as that is going to be an avenue for them to pursue to take out that midfielder. But right now, Showtime's still very much alive and looking to take the second barrier. They almost get it past Merchant, but a really good defensive move from Streak and Merchant together will keep this point alive. Joker taking a lot of damage. One barrier down on Barcode. Second one being under pressure. Flip comes out from Joker now, and with the pendulum swing, will just confirm that really good setup, as Shionzu will use the flip as well and gets it past both of them. Really good angle to put Showtime at series point here.
Yes, sir. Showtime looking at the end right now. One more point for them in BOZO bunch. If they actually do secure this point, they can keep this whole set alive. They've played a whole nother set, bro. Dropletto getting that kill with the dash punch. Not even having to use flip there, though. Joker also completely staggered. Barcode more or less alone here, though, as Joker is just trying to play defensively, though. But man, Barcode so good at stalling, bro. This goalie, this lockdown goalie is doing so much work, and they get the barrier, man, in this power play. Dropletto can't get their hands on this ball. This flip might have to be used at some point, but it doesn't. Streak 1 millimeter away from realizing the danger it sensed, and everyone else possibly caught in the past. It's going to be Showtime taking this series over BOZO bunch 2-0 fashion, and certainly securing their spot in the higher bracket.
Most definitely. And with that, I do believe we are very likely to know what our upper bracket teams are going to be. There's still a world where matches end up the way they do, where the Sundubu strikers are going to go into tiebreaker scenarios for upper bracket. But other than that, it's looking likely that we have Hug, EKC, Bun, and Showtime as our upper bracket teams. But more in regards to this game, I was thinking if this goes to set 5, I wouldn't be surprised to see Dropletto at like 100,000 damage, because he was doing a lot. He's only has 56 now, without that last set, of course, but 14 KOs. Yeah, BOZO Bunch had a game plan. They pulled through with it, but in the end, the consistency from Showtime was just a little bit too much for them to handle. 100 shots on Joker, by the way, as well. Together with Streak 116. A lot of back and forth this game.
Yeah, I do agree that the BOZO Bunch, for the most part, did what they set out to do, which is get a lot of kills. But that is such a classic moment, right? Where one team spends their cooldowns and gets a power play, and now things are looking kind of bleak, but the opposing team has something like Giant Asher, who hasn't had to play for a few minutes, and now it's like, okay, double prime time on this barrier beam, and so it's like, did the kill, like, it didn't do enough. Literally, the kill didn't do enough, and the Asher just holds through the power play. Teammate comes back, and I think for the most part, Showtime did a faster job at getting the barriers. Like, every time that they had a situation, it was like almost double barrier all the time, and the barriers just weren't dropping on the side of Barcode here. So that's kind of, I think, really the big difference here, though. Even if it was like pretty close for the most part, and like the teams were doing what they wanted to do, Merchant kind of the team ran out of time. Merchant just did not have the cooldowns to survive the whole point. But nonetheless, Showtime moving on over and making everyone's tiebreakers feel a little bit more interesting, as the teams are going to continue to fight here for the playoffs. But that will certainly be the end of our block here, Sloth. It was an honor once again doing this regular season with you, my man. Would you like to say anything else before we get the heck out of here?
I just want to say I don't want to be biased, but I just like that Showtime one, because out of the situations, every single team outside of Demon's Raw still can make it into playoffs. Some are more likely, some are less likely, but that just makes every upcoming game much more exciting, and I feel like everyone should be around for that as well. So yeah, those are my closing words, Andy, if you have anything else to say.
Yeah, no, all good. That makes perfect sense. We love to see like the closeness of this NASL that is bringing everyone together. The skill gap has never been closer, has never been more narrow. Everyone's doing such a good job, and the NASL could really go to anybody, and this playoffs will show exactly what's going on. But when we get back here, guys, you were going to see Hungry Like Nephew against Return to Form. It's just non-stop hitters for the rest of the day, and that'll be it for us, and we'll be back in a few minutes.